Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well and very much in the Christmas spirit as I am. I've got my tree behind me. I thought I couldn't not do a video this year without sitting in front of the tree. So I've done a lot of outfit inspiration videos lately, but I thought what I would do instead for this video is 5 winter mistakes that people make in their wardrobe. I, for one, am guilty of these. And when I was going through all of these, I actually thought, yes, these are really useful tips for my own wardrobe. So some of them apply directly to winter, and then some of them I feel like are mistakes that you can probably make all year round. But let's get into the first one. So just before we jump into today's video, I actually have 2 very exciting announcements. So the first one, before anyone notices whilst I am talking, is that we got engaged whilst we were on holiday last week in Switzerland, which is so exciting. I obviously don't share too much of that side of my life online, just because I like to keep things a little bit more personal, but who knows, maybe I'll share some things coming up. But I thought I would let you all know because of course I will be having the ring on my finger from now on, and I know the eagle-eyed amongst you would be spotting it, so I thought I would share the good news before we got into the video. So we're both really excited, really happy, and looking forward to celebrating all over Christmas. I feel like it's now the perfect time to just go into full celebrations. Very excited about that. And then the second thing I want to share is that my collection with Naked is now live and available to shop. Obviously, my last video was talking about all the pieces before it went live so that you could get a chance to kind of realize what was going up, so that you could get your sizes, etc. But we still have lots available, some beautiful pieces. And I realized that this video, I actually pre-recorded this before we even went on holiday. I actually pre-recorded this and I wasn't sure whether it was going to be my last video of the year. But I think now, I feel like time has just run away with me this, the past 3 months, I'd say. It's just gone so quickly, but this will actually be my last video of the year. So I thought I would mention now, because I thought I might have another one, but I thought I would mention now that my collection is live. It actually fits in really nicely with this video, which is all about kind of mistakes you can make in winter dressing, not just Christmas dressing, or winter dressing in general. One of the key points I make, which I talk about later, as I said, this was pre-recorded, so there's a reason why I didn't include these tops, because they weren't available yet, but we have some really good tops. I speak about kind of having like a warm but dressier top, and we actually have some that fit the bill really well. So we have these 2 beautiful ruche tops. I know a lot of you said you've got these. They are going to be so useful within your wardrobe. One is this like almost like greeny grey shade, like a foresty grey. I think somebody mentioned that that was the tone of it in the last video. So this is so nice. It goes with so many different colours, from warm neutrals, cool neutrals, tonal like greens will look so good with this. And then we also have it in the kind of off-white shade with the ruching on. These are so useful, not just at Christmas, but every time you go out, you want something more than a t-shirt, but you don't want to wear a shirt or a really dressy blouse. These are like the perfect in-between piece. And that is actually what I talk about in the video later on, is that in winter we neglect these pieces, but actually when it comes to dressing up, evening dressing, we probably have none of these in our wardrobe, and then we're like, we need a dressier top that isn't too much. So these are perfect for that. And also this beautiful ruched blouse in this gorgeous blue shade. It just feels so different to have like a starker blue for a change. It's not a navy, it's something a little bit brighter. I feel like this will suit so many different people as well, and just provides that warmth with it being sleeved, and then the ruching also a little bit thicker. So perfect for winter dressing. When you don't know what to wear, grab one of these tops and you're good to go. I've actually done lots of styling on my Instagram as well, talking through the pieces in more depth, from the knits, showing different ways you can style the knits with jeans, with like white trousers to make them really dressy. One of my favorites is the off-white chunky knit. This will be so good with like tonal outfits. It is so warm, and as we approach those cooler months, it's so nice to have 1 or 2 of these really, really cozy pieces. I also think this with like a red lip and a heel will look so good too. And we also have some pieces that I think are really appropriate for workwear and more kind of hybrid dressing, things that fit that fusion styling really well. I've obviously spoken a lot about fusion styling, but basically what I mean by that is bringing two different things together into one outfit. So something like this blazer feels a little bit more workwear, but then you can wear it with jeans to dress it right down if you wanted to. Also, you could then really style it up for more of a kind of formal, like almost like a party look with some really jazzy earrings. And I think we've got so many of those pieces in the collection that work really nicely for all of those different things. For example, we've got this beautiful asymmetric skirt. Actually comes with, well, it doesn't come with, you can buy the jacket separately, like the matching jacket. This will be really nice for workwear, but also casually, a bit more dressed down with like a flat boot, chunky knit will work really well. And then the jacket also with the matching asymmetric buttons, which again can be worn very, very casually if you wanted to, but also just with the skirt for more of like an officey look. Hopefully this video will be useful in January when we're kind of trying to re-inspire our workwear wardrobe as well, but then also get those pieces that you can wear outside of the office too. So as I said, just really wanted to share this within this video as it will be my last one before Christmas. So two really exciting announcements. So this first tip is a bit of a two-pronged one, and it's about colour. So obviously we're seeing quite a few colours around at the moment, whether it's burgundy, which we're seeing so much of, brown or olive tones. So the first thing with that is to not just buy one piece in that colour, because I think you can then get very stuck and struggle with your accessories and pairing pieces. So I think if you're going to go down the route of buying a colour, I think first of all, really choose and think about the colour that you want to add into your wardrobe. And then think about buying maybe 1, 2, 3 pieces that can all be mixed and matched together. And then on that note, this is where the second part of this tip comes in, is that you really need to make sure that the tones of that colour are the same. For example, we're seeing so much burgundy around at the moment, but burgundy is such a huge spectrum, whether it's more of like a winey red or more of a purpley shade. For my examples today, I'm sharing pieces that all have this slightly more purpley undertone as opposed to like a red wine kind of burgundy. I would say those two shades of burgundy don't really work that well together. So you could think, oh, I'll go and buy some burgundy pieces, but you need to be really careful about the actual tone that you're going for. The same with browns. The spectrum of browns out there is huge, whether you're going for a warm tone brown or a cool tone brown. So I think it's really important to kind of pick your shade and then pick your tone within that shade. Mistake number 2 that I think people make is not investing in a warm but dressy top. So this is a little bit niche, I suppose, but actually for me, this is a really, really big thing in my wardrobe, particularly in the build up to Christmas, but also just for evenings in general in winter. Just to show you what I mean, I have a few lovely examples on screen. I will link them below. But as I said, these are just kind of tips rather than saying go and buy them. They're just kind of tips of things to not do and things to avoid. But for example, there's this beautiful one from Under the Stories, grey with a bow, works really nicely, but it needs to be something warm. And I feel like I didn't have much of this. I went to London the other day and we went for like a festive day out, went for a nice lunch, but also it was daytime and it was cold. So you need something warm. I actually wore this, but I didn't have many options of that within my wardrobe. So you need something warm that still looks dressy. And there's so many times, especially at this time of year, you're going around to friends' houses, you're doing kind of dressy things that aren't party things. You need those tops. Going to a restaurant in the evening when it's really cold outside, you need one of these tops. And I think people just really neglect this whole category within their wardrobe. So we'll have tons of blouses, dresses, party things, sequin tops, which are great, but don't neglect these dressier kind of knits and jumpers, maybe like a velvet top that is a little bit thicker than your usual blouse. So mistake number 3 is neglecting your socks. socks. Again, this is kind of niche, but also I feel like such a big one. It's like one of those small things within your wardrobe that we don't think of, but actually it can make or break your outfit, particularly as loafers are such a big thing at the moment. Even when we're wearing boots and your socks are kind of on show, if it's an ankle boot, neglecting your sock wardrobe can actually have a really big impact on your outfits. So I've got a few examples, but just some maybe ribbed nice ones, investing in some kind of coloured ones, maybe even burgundy ones. If you're going for that burgundy colour palette, perhaps you've got a burgundy jumper and you want to wear it with some loafers, a nice pop of a burgundy sock would work really nicely with that, other than like a black sock or a grey sock that doesn't match in. So that kind of rolls back to that first point of buying one or two things in that colour. Maybe you could buy a sock in that colour and it will bring all your outfit together. I think you'll be surprised. This is particularly the case with loafers and chunky loafers, which I've been wearing a lot of lately, especially as well if we're going around to people's houses. Maybe a loafer is what you want to wear over like a big heavy boot. So having like a nice pop of a sock that just feels a little bit more elevated than your usual sock really will make a difference. So do not underestimate that. Mistake 4 is the wrong length of knit. So I really wanted these tips. I've actually thought long and hard about these tips because I definitely wanted them to be problems that I experience within my wardrobe. And one of those for sure is getting something like an oversized chunky knit and it being way too long for me to wear with anything. It's very, very limiting on what you can wear with. For example, I mean, what can you wear an oversized knit with? Sometimes it looks good with oversized trousers as well, like a wide leg. Sometimes it looks like it can drown you, and if it's the wrong shape at the bottom, it just doesn't work. So I think really think about the shape of chunky knit that you go for. I personally think a cropped but chunky, boxy, oversized kind of knit is the way to go. So I think the length is just so important and very much neglected when we're shopping. We just think of a nice chunky knit and probably forget to take into consideration the length. I wear so many wide leg trousers at this time of year, so I need something a little bit short and boxy to balance out that wider style. The same with a balloon jean, an oversized long knit just won't go with them. So for me, all my trouser and skirt shapes that I wear at the moment, a long knit just doesn't sit right. So definitely make sure to go for a shorter length. I've got some examples on screen of what I mean by that, but just be careful and think about what bottoms you have with your knitwear. Mistake number 5, which I think is particularly relevant to this time of year, is having the wrong evening shoe. So I think at this time of year, there are so many party shoes out there that are kind of strappy, lots of diamantes and embellishments on them, which is very pretty. It draws us all in. It's that magpie piece that I always talk about. But actually, sometimes like a strappy heel with diamantes is just so impractical. They sometimes clash with tights depending on how you wear them, and you're not going to wear them with bare feet either unless you're going to a party, or maybe it's warm where you are. But where I am, I'm not going to choose like a strappy heeled sandal with diamantes, even if it looks Christmassy. I'm not gonna go for that because I feel like it's just not quite the right thing at this time of year. So what I would swap for instead is a pointed slingback. I actually think a slingback more than anything. I think it's really flattering at the back. I think sometimes like a full court shoe that's pointed can feel a little bit dated now. I think a slingback version feels a lot more modern, a little bit cooler, and a closed toe makes all the difference. For example, I would probably go for like a bare leg or a bare ankle with a closed toe if I was inside, obviously, in the evening. But I would never go for like an open toe strappy sandal in the evening. So I think just having that slight difference of the closed toe, a pointed shape, goes with everything, will really help. It also goes with lots of different trouser shapes too. I think a lot of the time in the evening, especially around Christmas, we are gravitating more towards trousers. So a pointed toe is one of those things we really need in our wardrobe. So having the wrong shoe, particularly with your dressy looks in winter, can really throw you off. And I also just think you don't wear those shoes in winter. Let me know if you are guilty of any of these mistakes. I feel like we all are, and I've got to say, I am guilty of some of these, but now I've kind of sat down and had the chance to actually think it through. It's really helped me with decision making in my wardrobe. For example, I know that I'm really missing a couple more of these like dressier tops that have some warmth to them or a bit more going on than just your usual knit. So I think it's been useful for me to break this down. Leave me a comment with what you're guilty of below. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know whether this is my last video before Christmas, but if it is, then I hope you have a lovely Christmas and New Year. I will see you in 2025, if not before. So thank you again for all your support over the past year, and hopefully in 2025 it will be the year that we make it to 1 million subscribers. So thank you again if you have subscribed. If you've not, make sure you click it now as a little Christmas gift to me. So thank you so much again, and I will see you in my next one.